Good afternoon. Hope your morning was productive and you were able to work with your colleagues in the process of learning, unpacking, and aligning and implementing the new state standards. Your work now is so critical to the success of our students and our district both now and in the future. So now what's in store for the second part of today? I'm titling my speech this morning as Working in Quadrant D, Building Lessons on Inquiry. But before I begin, this portion of today's experience will be done a little bit differently. Thanks to our Race to the Top transformation team and our teachers who were trained in the inquiry-based lesson planning, we've worked together to plan and give you a different experience today. Some of today's presentation will be traditional. Some other portions of today may look like more of a blended learning model. It will have components of connecting with others outside your traditional walls, but it can also have a touch of that online experience. Not only will you have the chance to engage with each other this afternoon collectively together about inquiry lesson design, but you may gain an insight into a strategy that you can use in your classroom later on today or tomorrow or weeks to come. Let's get to our work today and about building an inquiry lesson. If you remember back in my opening speech during the 2010-11 school year, you may remember my talk about the 4 quadrants of higher level thinking. Shortly, I'll resurrect some of those slides to focus on our task at hand today. These slides were geared toward understanding and creating an engaging classroom focused on higher level thinking. Let's talk a moment to review that talk because that will be our springboard for us for the rest of the afternoon. There were 2 main points in that discussion: trying to compare the level of Bloom and the application, as well as trying to make a case for focusing instruction and testing more in the Quadrant D area. As you see, the higher level of Bloom and the higher application rate, when we're in that area, the more students are problem solving and critically thinking. That high level inquiry certainly is the goal to strive for. Let's start with discussing student engagement, or maybe a better way to show this is by using this application slide. As we build lessons, we know we should construct lessons using all these levels. But is there a place that we should put more focus on? I'm sure you can agree that the highest level of thought, that a level 5, or the application of real world to unpredictable situations, is where we really need to focus more of our attention. We can also parallel this model to the Bloom and his taxonomy. I'm sure we all can agree that when we get kids focused at the synthesis and evaluation level, they're all thinking at that much higher level. Although knowing basic facts is still important, let's face it, our world is transforming very quickly. If we can't get our kids to think, problem solve, work together with others, and solve real-world problems, and be able to handle solving problems to unpredictable situations, we're putting our students at a great disadvantage. Wow, but how do we do this? Well, relax, we have examples of this, but as you know, we can all learn more. Change is difficult. But remember, the new testing standards, the new standards and the testing paradigm is forcing more of this change to occur. Let's get to that analysis of the quadrants. Looking at our quadrants, you can all interpret that the higher we move on Bloom's taxonomy and the higher we move towards greater application, the higher the ability for students to problem solve and understand. After all, our new testing procedures will be more focused on Quadrant D. This in itself should help to motivate us to work toward that end. Here's the example I used a year ago to depict the standard in math. As I go between these slides, try to get a sense of what's different. Can you see the difference from Quadrant A compared to Quadrant D? I'm sure we can agree Quadrant D is a much higher level, and that's our goal. Let's focus our attention there today. Today, we have asked that you bring a lesson or a unit to this meeting to share with a small group of your colleagues. Hopefully, you brought a lesson that you would like to improve on. Why this type of lesson? Well, first, we always can improve, and it's more fun and challenging when we do it with someone else. I hope if you feel a little bit funny today sharing something with someone else, by the end of the day, I hope you can gain an experience or get an experience of a sense of support and attachment to your colleagues, and a general sense of uniting us for a common goal of student achievement. It's when we can open ourselves to suggestions and when we can openly share and let our guard down, accept help from a colleague, we can thank that colleague, and that's what really a high-functioning team is. Our goal today is to have you gain advice, have dialogue about a lesson, ask for criticism, and to use inquiry learning so that you can develop high-quality lessons that engage and challenge our students. Also, we all have had lessons we don't like, so why not get help from others to improve its quality? I briefly talked again about Quadrant D and building more quality lessons. Actually, we're also focusing on another concept, that of developing inquiry-based lessons. Whether it's working in Quadrant D or talking about building more inquiry lessons, we're talking a similar language, that of building knowledge of inquiry. So how do we take theory into practice? Do we all have common definition of what inquiry learning really is? In a minute, there'll be some guiding questions for you to answer in a small group, and then also at the building level. These guiding questions will lead us to the next exploration. It's important to get everyone on the same page. Before those questions are posed to you, let me introduce the rest of what will occur today. Again, you'll get a lot of time today to work on developing those lessons of inquiry, but you also may need to gather other ideas. And we're fortunate to have a lot of examples across the district. You'll get a chance to watch about 13 of our teachers all the way from kindergarten through high school to give different examples of how they've used this inquiry lessons in their classrooms. Embedded in the final part of the video is Andrew and Michelle, who will share some information about connecting that learning outside our walls. And additionally, they have set up a way to share some of the information from each building via a blogging technique. You get a chance to share what your colleagues are thinking across the district, as well as ask Andrew, Michelle, and Billy how to implement your ideas in the classroom, especially if you need certain technologies to do so. So before we go much further, what we're trying to do is here's model. Try to share some learning, promote collaboration, and to develop a common language for inquiry lessons, and to do so in a different way. Okay, so let's get to the meat of what our work is today. Let's start by getting on the same page. On the screen now are some guiding questions that we'd like you to discuss in a small and in your large building group. When you're ready to discuss those, just hit pause. When you've exhausted all your conversation, come back and hit play. Let's take a look at those guiding questions. Here they are. How would you define inquiry-based lesson? What things might be included in these types of lessons? Can you do these lessons all at the same time and do them all the time? What are the challenges to developing and implementing a good inquiry-based lesson? I'm going to hit pause, have a chance to discuss, and when you're ready to come back, we'll start with our next part. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome back. Hope that fosters some good discussion. There's a lot to developing those high-level thought, challenging and engaging lessons. But once they are created, I think we all agree our students will be much more engaged. Mention that we had some of your colleagues that were willing to share these experiences. How wonderful we're able to get about 13 of your colleagues from K through 12 to share. In a moment, you'll get to see these lessons. Some may say, why do I need to see a middle, a high school, or an elementary experience if I don't teach that grade level? Well, we have so many wonderful things that are happening across the district. It's great to see the expertise that we have. Also, you may be interested in an idea or technology that may have been used, and now you can call and you can ask that colleague for help. You hear me say all the time, we're in this together. And here's just another example of that. Watch the next few minutes of the video and think about these questions as you watch these videos. What are some of the key elements of each of these lessons? How did they overcome some of the obstacles of time, collaboration, and engagement? And how many different technologies did you experience? How many different technologies are being used? Again, you can hit pause now to watch the videos and debrief with your team and our building of what you viewed in these videos. Take a few minutes to watch. Well, welcome back again. You've heard a lot of great things over the past few minutes. Did you see something you liked? What if you saw something and you wanted to visit that teacher and or their classroom? I say call that teacher up and let's find a way to visit that classroom. We have so much talent here on our staff that we need to connect all that talent within and among all of us. A staff that grows together becomes one great unit. So now it's your turn today. You brought a lesson today to share. I want you to take the time to talk about that lesson with your colleagues with the goal of implementing more components of an inquiry-type lesson. You might make some small tweaks, or you may redo the whole thing. Either way, please work as a team to help each other to inspire that creativeness that we all have inside. Our goal is student engagement in a process where they are mastering the standards and they're involved in high level and high critical thinking skills and trying to work at a lesson in student engagement that is working in Quadrant D, that being the highest level of application. Well, good luck today. Enjoy your time together. Let your guard down and be creative. And keep in mind, Andrew, Billy, and Michelle are available now. You can interactively send them those questions or comments or needs via the chat mechanism that they talked about. They're waiting to hear from you. And again, thank you for your patience, interest, and willingness to grow as a professional educator today. Have a great day, and I hope there's a new idea or a nugget of information that helps you today. Have a great day.